then he came in, and I guess he saw the look in my face. He knew he needed to leave. Whew. After that took place, the cops came and picked him up, took him to jail. Okay. My life at that point was, I don't know. It's hard. I mean, I didn't know what to do.
Seeing that, I would think that you would have problems even seeing God in all of that. How did you see God?
I didn't see God. At that age, God for me was just a white man with a long white beard and a sheep on the hill somewhere meditating. God had no real value to me during that time. I could not see God in anything that was going on. I was confused. Hatred. I was mad. Anger. It was more than I can handle. I could have taken a person and killed them with my bare hands because of the rage that was in me because of what was going on. But here's the deal: God is so wise and so discerning in terms of what to do with people in circumstances such as mine. My sister and I was close. We were a year apart, and when she was in the hospital, her last 2 weeks, they came and got my father after the incident with my mother and the acid, and my sister was rushed back to the hospital after that as well, and a week passed, and I'm praying because I'm so angry. I don't know what to do, and I'm trying to get out of this situation. My thing was to kill my father. To kill my father, I get rid of all the problems. I'm praying. A week passed, and then my mom calls me and says, you need to come to the hospital to see your sister. She won't be with us long. I had never seen a cancer victim before. But when I got to the hospital, she told me what room my sister was in, and I went to that room, and when I saw the person in that room, I saw my sister, I said, no, my mom must have made a mistake. So I passed the room into the next room, and my mom was coming down the hall. She said, no, that was the right room. I said, no, that's not the right room. And she said, and she realized at that point that I didn't recognize my sister. My sister was about your size, makeup. When I went to the hospital room and I saw her, excuse me, she lost all her hair. She was a skeleton. She was a skeleton, laying in the bed, and I went to her and I grabbed her little skeleton hands. I told her that I loved her and that I was going home and pray. And I left. I couldn't stand to see her like that. I went home. I was angry, confused, helpless, and had no idea what I was going to do. But I realized that my father was the culprit. He was the reason for all of this. So I got home and I started to pray. And my strategy was, if I can get God to get me out of this wheelchair, I would kill my father. So I started to pray. Lord, I'll do whatever you want me to do. You know, con game is it's a real strong con game. You know, I know you called me to the ministry, you know, and, you know, and trying to get God feeling good about me just trying to change my life, right? And, but in my heart, it was all about destroying my father. So what happened was I prayed that prayer for 3 days straight and night. 3 days, 3 nighs, praying that prayer constantly. If you get me out of this chair, I'll do whatever you want. I know you there somewhere, and I know you can get me out of this chair. Bam, bam, bam. And on that third night, something happened. That night I started to pray because I had gotten to a place of desperation. I needed a change. I needed something to happen. I was depressed. A couple of my friends brought me some drugs, and, you know, I'm ready to commit suicide. You know, forget about, you know, getting me up. You know, I got to get out of here. I can't take no more of this. It was more than I can handle. And that night the Lord came to me as I was praying that same prayer, and I was more intense. I said, now, if you're God, you know, get me out of this chair.
Yes.
And at that point, a voice, it was like a gust of wind passed me, and God said, William, I know more about you than you know about yourself. I know every thought before it enters your mind. And when he said that, my whole understanding opened up. My understanding opened up, and I understood that God was smarter and more intelligent than I thought he was. And he knew everything before it even entered my mind. And I figured if he knew that, then he knew everything. And he said, if you would be sincere and pray, I'll do something for you that no other man on the face of the earth can do for you. And at that point I started to pray and confess to God, how can I be sincere when I can't tell the truth? I'm a liar. I knew I was a liar. I was an habitual liar, and every time I opened my mouth, I was lying. And the more I began to confess to God that I couldn't tell the truth, something on the inside of me, deep on the inside of me, began to break up. And that confession turned into a sincere confession, because I'm telling God that my problem is I can't tell the truth, which was the truth. And what happened was I began to weep. When I began to weep, it's like God came into the room, took a bucket of his spirit and poured it on me, and it drenched me from my head to my toe. And as I wept, God came into my life through that confession and changed my life. And from that day up until now, my life has never been the same.